Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Outriders, a game I am thoroughly enjoying. This is of course the demo, but we are going to be showcasing the fire character as we've been doing. We've made videos on the Colossus, Devastator, Devastator, and of course the Technomancer. So now we are dealing with the fire character, the one that is mid-range combat. But guys, this character is meant to spam the ever-living hell out of his abilities, which is fun and amazing. Essentially, he's the wizard-like class, but yeah, okay. So first of all, I think it's important for me to say that I think every single character in this game is going to be absolutely incredible at endgame. So yeah, especially when you have all of these unlocked, because some of these, also if you get like cooldown reduction or anything like that, when you start getting into their skill tree, you can start building perks and actually building them in a way everything works out and makes sense. We'll get into all of the skills in a minute, or some of them in a minute. But before we do that, let's of course go through his skills. So we have Heat Wave. This is actually fantastic. It's just this wall of fire that applies a burn status, igniting enemies. Now why that's huge is because any enemy that's affected with a burn status is technically, I think, marked. And also under the effects of your status. There's Ash, there's other kinds of status that exist in the game. But when you actually hit enemies affected by your skills, your abilities, you will gain health regen. So that's huge. That is how this Pyromancer class actually heals, is by burning or killing enemies that are under the effects of his status. So this is great. Affect some status, kill them real quick, gain some health. Awesome. Then we have this. This one is really cool. Feeding Flame. This applies in Ash and actually stops enemies in their tracks. This is essentially a leech ability. So you deal a little bit of damage and you get a pretty good amount of HP in return, which is pretty fantastic. Just a good utility ability. It's on kind of a large cooldown for what it is. But then we have this, Thermal Bomb. This is fantastic because of that. Basically, you'll lock down an enemy, stopping them, interrupting them, and then if you kill that enemy, they will explode, dealing massive damage to parties around you. I think this skill could get a lot better if it has the right like armor piece that magnifies it, like lowers its, the one I got I believe lowers its detonation. So see, it takes a long time for them to go up in the air and detonate. Not that often will enemies just stay there just cuz and shoot you like this. They'll move towards you, or they'll back up, or they'll get behind cover and all this weird shit. Or they'll be spaced out enough to where that you deal a lot of damage, but you're not going to get everybody, so it's kind of a meh thing. I digress. Still a fantastic perk, but I think it's going to be made by the perks that you get in your armor later down the line. Now we have Overheat. This is where things start getting a little complicated / work towards or work together in a cool way. So enemies affected by burn, you activate Overheat. This is generally just going to apply in interruptions. So if when you're fighting bosses, it can be really massive. They start doing like a self-heal. You can just hit this, boom, and they'll stop. Now, it's on a 19-second cooldown, so it's kind of flawed, but I digress. The thing that it does do is any enemy that's burnt, when you activate this, they are going to receive 121 damage. So this skill plays plays really well with the Heat Wave, which is the thing that applies a burn status. And then you applied the burn status, and then you basically just detonate. And you'll get another 120 some odd damage, and also stop enemies in their tracks. Kinda good, but all of these are not crazy. This is kind of cool if it had a little more teeth behind it. This is really good if it detonated quicker. This is good if it did anything, if I had like a weapon that infected enemies with burn, so I could just constantly keep getting that to proc. But it's like you'll hit an enemy, maybe 2, and then you'll activate the burn, and you still have 17 other enemies to fight, and you have no skills to use because they're on such long cooldowns. So yeah, it kind of falls apart. I think the other skills that you attain in a skill tree probably are going to be ones that are of a greater importance. And this is something I'll get right out of the way immediately. This character feels very odd when you're just starting out. I feel like the Devastator, amazing, an amazing class just to play. You'll like. He might be weaker at endgame. I don't think he will be, but yeah. Then the Technomancer, you can get by in the beginning. I think he'll be pretty good at endgame. This class feels like he's pretty weak in the beginning. And weak's a strong word. You tend to not feel like you're dying all the time. It's not, if you like to play behind cover a lot, this class speaks to you probably a little bit more. But yeah, I find the class, unlike the other ones that I played, are just so much stronger in the beginning, whereas this class kind of struggles with the fact that you need to keep applying your abilities, and sometimes you just don't have them at your disposal. And yeah, with it's like this class can light people on fire, shoot them, and gain health. As the Devastator, I can activate an ability and you just die. Same thing with the other ones. Maybe the Technomancer is a little bit different, but the Technomancer can throw down a drone that just aggroes enemies, deals damage, just insane utility, you know what I'm saying? So again, this character I think is going to be amazing, but towards the end of the thing, because right now, just getting to level 7 and all the bells and whistles, even though I have a pretty good amount of blues, you don't feel that. But with that being said though, I'm assuming you could get one armor piece that could just make one of these abilities absolutely massive. There is one of them that gives you 2 of the heat waves. It's good, but heat wave, unless you start massively amplifying your anomaly damage, is kind of just going to be okay. Now, let's get into his skills real quick. Unlike the other ones, he's a little bit different actually. So you do have the top skill tree you would think is going to be like your weapon enhancement, gun damage kind of thing, which it is, but it's kind of specific like that. Like marked enemies take more weapon damage, okay? Increases pistol and revolver damage. Okay, yeah. So anyways, this character is meant to use assault rifles and things of that nature. Shotguns as well, I believe. Oh no, snipers. Yeah, snipers and assault rifles. It's supposed to be mid-range, not really up close and personal at all. This skill, whenever you immobilize enemies, increases your anomaly power. Not your weapon damage, but your anomaly power, which is interesting. This is telling you right now this character does not scale that much with weapon damage. He scales with anomaly power. Now, I think the N tier build is going to basically use a lot of anomaly power, and if you build a shit ton of anomaly power, things like this exist. Your fire power is increased by 15% of your anomaly power. So if you have an insane amount of anomaly power, you're going to be able to use your weapons or utilize your weapons to some extent as well, just by passively feeding off of each other like that. There's this one, activating immobilize skills doubles your weapon leech. Not damage, leech, for 4 seconds. Okay, sure. Every time Ash is affected on an enemy, it applies a vulnerable status. Cool, that's not bad. The capstone on Ashbreaker is activating immobilization skills increase your weapon damage by 60%. Finally, at the very end, we get 1 weapon damage. But with that being said, there are things in between here, which increases, like, again, this character, you need to be using your abilities to gain the weapon damage. So they're almost like forcing you into submission of, like, no, you're gonna use those abilities. If you're not using the abilities, you're not getting any damage from your weapons. So yeah, the top skill tree is very much, honestly, it seems like situational weapon damage, but for the most part, it's anomaly boosting and stuff like that. Wildfire decreases all your skill cooldown by 10%. Awesome. Again, this one is usually the utility kind of thing. All Guns Blazing increases weapon damage after any skill activation by 20% for 7 seconds. So yeah, again, just to reiterate, this character is not meant to be the gun-wielding DPS character. At least it doesn't seem that way. Yeah, he's meant to be the character that casts. Activating Ignite skills increases your armor. Good. None of these skills jump out at me that like you need them. Like Leech is pretty good, so that makes you basically unkillable. Activating Ignite skills increases armor piercing by 45% and resistance for 45%. So again, I feel like you're just going to be stacking your anomaly. Like the way you build this character is going to be different. It's not just about getting weapon damage or damage. It's about the 2 skills that get you scaling weapon damage and anomaly damage. Usually anomaly damage, it scales up your weapon damage. And you'll benefit massively from that. This is pretty crazy. Activating explosive skills will increase your anomaly power by 12% for 10 seconds. It's a percentage increase. That's massive. It doesn't say it's a big amount. Phoenix, you can when you die, you can come back. And lastly, increases explosion skills base damage by 30%. I think this character is going to be different in a way that the way you build him isn't going to be as simple as the other classes, where it's just like, that gives you a bunch of damage. That makes this skill basically, when you use that skill, it buffs everything you have for 10 seconds, and that skill's on like a 15-second cooldown, so there's only really 5 seconds of downtime. This one, it seems like it's like, okay, no, you're getting 30%, explosive damage buff. Okay, there's characters that get like 70% bonus gun damage. But then you also have things like this. So it's just about, like, instead of this being important, you just need to get your anomaly power high enough to really make a difference. Yeah. So, by the way, we're going in there with a shotgun. I know, blasphemy, but I don't have really any good snipers. Now, we're going to be going there with assault rifle. I will tell you guys this first and foremost. I'm not the biggest fan of the class. personally. It's kind of, yeah, just not my cup of tea. Yeah, I think I will like all the characters. It's just when you get to end game, you need to build them in a specific way and get this armor that makes them cracked, all that stuff. But today we're going to be showcasing the character in this absolute bulletstorm hellfest that is this mission, which is what people are using to farm legendaries / just gear. So we're going to go through here. There's just a bunch of enemies. We're on the highest world level that you can possibly attain in the demo, which I believe is world tier 4. So yeah, we're pretty, well actually, is this the highest? It may not be the highest. We'll see, I'll check in a minute. I can't because the game is live, but yeah. Also, it's a little laggy because everything's spawning in. Also, I need to upgrade my goddamn graphics card. I've talked to you about it 1,000 times. See, this is the problem with like the whole range combat, is that the minute that you actually try to do any of that, the game's just like, yeah, what if I just throw a grenade at you? And I'm like, okay, well, what the fuck, dude? So by the way, one thing that you can do that is incredibly helpful is actually make sure you melee, so that it will apply a burn onto enemies, so that way you can just shoot them and get a shit ton of health regen. And I want to stress that the character's not bad. By no means are they bad. They're just he's a little odd to play. Yeah. We can do that, and as long as we're shooting enemies that are burning, we're going to be able to regenerate a shit ton of our health. Yeah, it's not bad by any means. It just feels, I don't know how to put it. I find I die with this character quite a bit. With Colossus or Devastator, I never do that. Same thing with the Trickster, all those things. I just find that it's specifically a little rough. Now again, we're always going to want to kill that person, and then he's just going to pop and kill everyone around him. So there are some incredible utility to those characters. In fact, if we do this, and then we apply a heat wave, it's going to absorb all the burn. Oh wait, no, it absorbs ashes, right? I have a stupid a weapon or armor piece that I probably should take off, because you want to, it changes it to absorbing the burn or the ash status rather than the burn status. So it's a little less crazy, cracked and good and all that stuff. Oh, look, like we're on fire. Boom. I'm gonna shoot you and regenerate our health. And we always have that leech, so even if this person shoots me, I can eventually just and suck back a bunch of my health and shoot him, because it also stuns them for a little bit. Give me that. Give me those. Beautiful. Ooh. Okay. Look at that. That's the first time actually getting something that's not trash. Lovely. It was literally okay. So this is where the character kind of, to me, is a bit sketchy, and this is honestly where most people that aren't the Devastator kind of get to a weird place. Devastator or the Technomancer, because there's a value in being able to just shut down the opponent's ability to hurt you, basically, and this character does a great job of that. Also, what does this look like? Ooh, it's like a race car jacket. Love it. Thermal bomb infects ash onto enemies within 5-meter radius. Okay, maybe that works then. If we just use, so we need to use thermal bomb to mix ash onto enemies, because I think it's my helmet. Yeah, heat wave consumes ash instead of burn, which is bad because burn's pretty easy to apply. But if I have my heat bomb, then that should apply ash. So I need to do heat bomb and then ash. But yeah, it could. I'm again fully aware I could just be bad. That could be the case too. But I find when it comes to fighting bosses, it gets a little janky real fast. Yeah, especially if they don't have the skills to interrupt them and stuff like that. And yeah, but it's also probably mastery of understanding what skills do exactly what, and etc. But I don't know, playing the Devastator with this, easily, trivial. Playing the Trickster, or not Trickster, I keep saying Trickster, playing Technomancer, super easy with this. But yes, this is like a boss battle that's actually somewhat sizable. We are going to do this, thermal bomb. We're going to shoot you, you're going to infect enemies with ash. Don't think it was enough. Don't think that was enough to do that, but anyways, I do like to take away all these people first. Also, it sucks when you have this stupid thing following you. Anyways, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna shoot you up. We're gonna do this. That interrupts him. Awesome. We're gonna do that because that should imply a, yeah, because he's ashed. Oof. See, but that's what I mean. Oof. See, like this is what I mean. Like you're kind of stuck with your abilities off cooldown. You need to regenerate health. And enemies just keep doing this. They keep pushing towards you. So you keep being kind of stuck in this nightmare. And then you can burn enemies and try to shoot and heal them. So there's kind of weird methods to the madness. All the while, the boss is sitting there healing. Because you're not focusing on your interruption skills. Because you can't. You literally can't do that. And every now and again, he'll cast more enemies. So I can do this, I can do this, and I think he should have an ash on him now, so if I burn him, I'm going to gain that extra little damage bonus. Yeah, it sucks because I wish I could show. I probably will make another video about the Devastator, and I hope they don't nerf him because he seems to be, out of all of the ones, the most, like, he makes sense why he works so well, you know what I mean? Whereas this character, it's like, damn, I could see this character being like the Pyromancer, being fucking insane if I had any way to constantly apply fire. Now you guys could be saying, well, Grinn, why aren't you using the Heat Wave? Heat Wave's still on a big cooldown, man. Heat Wave's still on a pretty hefty cooldown. And sometimes you don't deal enough leech to gain your health back, so it's not exactly that. It's not quite what it is. At least for me. I'm totally open to me misplaying the game. But yeah, also this is the way people have been farming, like I said, to get legendaries and blues and such. But we'll run that one more time because I just want to show you guys a little bit more. Ooh, we got different pants. No, we didn't. We got blue pants. Ooh, we did get a shotgun though, although my shotgun's pretty goddamn beastly. Ooh, but this one's way more beastly apparently. Ooh, critical shots spawn an anomaly energy blast that deals 25 damage and doesn't have a cooldown. Okay. Well, even though this character is not meant to be played like a up close and personal character, I mean, thermal bomb is kind of, I mean, heat wave is a little, okay, let's run it back, this time with heat wave, because I want to showcase that ability for you guys. I forgot I need to talk to this person. Also, it looks like I have a crimson ass. Quite the weird pants I got going on, but it is what it is. Anyways, so we know this guy's going to pop out here, we're going to go, boom, and we're going to shoot him a bunch. Oof, that shot, this shotgun looks like it's going to be pretty fantastic. Oh god, it looks like it's going to be really little nutty. So you can always melee and do that and see if I'm really low health right now, so I'm gonna leech some health from him. He's also ash, so I can shoot him. Also, ooh, this, wow. Anything with crit damage in this game seems pretty nutty. Pretty damn nutty. It's a shame you can't give weapons to other people, because if I could give this to my Colossus dude, it would be pretty massive. Let's do this. Let's shoot you, kill you. Let's do a heat wave to gain some HP, not only from killing those people behind me, because I detonated that bomb which killed multiple people, which gave me a lot of health regen. That's why I just sporadically gained a ton of health. Also, I have 2 of these heat waves, so I probably should use both of them. And now with all of these people on fire, I can just shoot and regenerate my health, which is pretty fantastic. I can also do this and shoot you and he'll explode, killing everyone else. Pop! Yep, pretty great. Okay, so that's interesting. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't notice that. Okay, so ash is like a stun. It's like a calcification of them, which is pretty cool. So if I act, but I didn't know that's how it worked. Give me a sec. Let me kill off these enemies before I get lost too hard. Oh, so that was the anomaly. We crit hit for that one. Okay, so is a crit shot a headshot? No. Oh, even if that was, it wasn't. That wasn't quite it. That wasn't quite it, fam. Of course, you're gonna make me walk all the way down there for your stupid little key. Okay, so even though this is a showcase, I'm still learning. Okay, so we have, what is it? My boots, yeah. Thermal bomb infects ash on enemies within a 5-meter radius of an enemy that is about to explode. Okay, so as soon as you knock an enemy down, every enemy gets frozen, which is a hell of is really valuable. Sorry. Because it basically freezes enemies so they can't run away from the exploding guy spontaneously, which is great. Wish it was a little bit bigger radius, but no, this is much better of a thing, because heat wave I can always apply and get damage regen, but now I have no way to interrupt the dude above, which could be a little rough. Well, we could try something different. We could just try to bull rush him with our shotgun that does absurd damage. Just keep shooting the shit out of him. We're gonna skip the cutscene. We're gonna try to take out one of the people beside him, such as this guy. Shoot him. Interrupt that. The shotgun is just kind of nuts. Okay, we killed him immediately. Quickly. Leech. Leech any health. Okay. That could have been real rough real fast. Okay, so maybe I just had a really shitty weapons. But then again, this character's not supposed to be played as a shotgun user. Okay. Well, ooh, look at our eyes. What's with our eyes? Do we use do our eyes get all crazy whenever we use power? No, I think it was just a visual bug. But that was significantly more like pop, pop, pop. dead. But I think that's also not fair because, we have a shotgun that we got that's just kind of insane. Again, anything in this game, at least late game, which we can, or beginning game, is going to be amazing for crit damage. Anything that has crit damage is just huge. Man, oh man. Okay, so yeah, that to me felt a lot better. I felt like I was, well, no, even then I still got really close to like death, and the only way I was able to survive was kind of luck. Like I was just waiting for this ability. I can't use it, but one of my other abilities to come back, and luckily it did just in the nick of time. Alrighty, we got any cool weapon for this? Just for me? Just want to see? Ooh, we got some pants. We just got green pants. We got a glove. It's just a green glove. We got shoes. Yeah, I got shoes. Heat wave. If this skill damages 3 enemies, all subsequent enemies will receive additional 33 damage. Yeah, that's kind of good, but nothing like the one I currently got, which is thermal bomb. Basically freezes enemies near it so that they're guaranteed to get hit with that 300 damage. So it's much better than just a 33. If they exploded, then maybe. If they exploded on 33 damage, then maybe, because that would maybe add up to something, but I digress. This shotgun, guys, I think it's just a shotgun being nuts, but also, yeah, the shotgun has a base weapon leech and it's critical damage, so it hits really hard, but also it leeches health for me, so I was able just to sit in front of the boss and be like, fa-dunk, 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 and I was like, okay, I'm kind of fine, and as long as I kept shooting enemies, I would have been even better, so, yeah, this character, again, even though that last run we did where we changed things up and kind of tried to fit better with what we kind of got in terms of our gear, I still feel like he's a little sketchy. He's a little all over the place, whereas other characters aren't as weird when it comes to the beginning. But I digress. I think this character is going to be still fun early on. And again, if you have that weapon like the shotgun that can carry you through the kind of awkward period of you just trying to get enough energy recharge to make it so that you can constantly keep applying fire, constantly keep the health steal up. Or if you have a weapon that has leech and you're just good with that weapon because it's your primary weapon, all that stuff. I do feel like this character is a mid-range class, and that's a little fucky when enemies just keep chucking bombs at you whenever you're in cover, to where you're kind of just like, it seems weird to be so far back when enemies just flush you out immediately, and you're like, okay. Yeah, it just seems a little shitty when it comes to that perception. But, ladies and gentlemen, in the next video, we're going to be dealing with the last of the characters we have to showcase, which is the Trickster, who is a class I very, very, very much am in love with. For me, personally, it is Devastator, Trickster, and then Technomancer, and then Pyromancer. Again, it's not that I don't like the Pyromancer, it's just that from what I've seen thus far, I just don't know. I feel like I gotta get some of his other abilities to really fall in love, but for right now, I'm just really liking the Trickster. I'm liking that in the face of enemies kind of combat, and I'm sure you guys will like it too, but I digress. If you like the gameplay that you've seen with the Pyromancer, then go with that. Again, he's strong in his own right, all that stuff. I could have just been getting unlucky with gear. Let me know if I was. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you guys do enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.